Greetings and salutations to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. This is your host, Brother Mikael Ben Yehuda, saying shalom, everyone. Thank you for tuning again to my YouTube channel, Back to Back Biblical Facts. I hope all is well with you on this occasion or this day, and hope you're doing well and you came to no other purpose but to gain the accurate knowledge of Elohim's Word. Today is the second part of a series that I'm doing on cliches of the Bible, and I hope that the last one you were edified. And it's so crazy. I just saw a news segment where he was talking about a lot of things that you hear or you heard over the years. And specifically, he asked the question to this scientist. He said, "Where did we get the saying under the weather?" And so he went all the way back to when the fishermen of the boats and stuff like that, what they would do if it's storming or really windy and raining on the boats. They would go at the bottom of the boat. Therefore, you know, that's where you get the term a little under the weather. So it's just amazing when, you know, certain things that we say, we don't know the origin of them. And that is the purpose of me tackling these things, dealing with cliches, because a lot of things can be misimplied, not understanding the origin. Once you understand the origin and the context in which it was said, then you could properly use part of the scripture or the application of the scripture properly. That's all I'm doing. I'm not dismissing cliches. I'm just dismissing the usage of it to make sure that we're understanding the proper context in order to properly apply the scripture, because we'll use that same scripture. Excuse me, going back to the under the weather thing, we'll use that to say, oh, I'm not feeling well. But that if we keep it in the proper context, it wasn't because they weren't feeling well. It's because they were ships. They were on a ship, and the weather was bad on the ship, so they went below or beneath. Therefore, saying, you know, being under weather. So under that, you know, that doesn't apply to being sick. If we was to use that, it wouldn't apply of not feeling your best. It had nothing to do with not feeling your best when we go back to the proper origin of the saying under the weather. And that's what I'm saying. So today we're going to get into a famous scripture that a lot of us use. Even I have used it many a times. But let's dive into what the author meant when he said this scripture. So without further ado, let's go to Hosea chapter 4. Hosea chapter 4 verses 6. The famous scripture where it says, "My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children." So when I read the whole thing, I get a better understanding of what knowledge? Knowledge of what? Because as a person who reads this and it says my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, immediately I want to know, okay, what is the knowledge? Because I don't want to be destroyed. So what is the knowledge that I need to keep from being destroyed? There has to be a knowledge that I need to keep from being destroyed. So what is it? I want to know. I need to know. Because we have to look at the Bible as the whole Bible being applicable for all of us today. So if there's something in this scripture that keep me from being destroyed, then I most certainly want to know what it is so that I will avoid that destruction or that calamity or that tragedy, so that I won't be these people in the scripture. So so let's find out. Let's read it again. My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. So it's imperative that you understand, okay, who is God talking to? God is talking to the 12 tribes of Israel. So you're saying, so you may say, oh, so he was just talking to the 12 tribes of Israel. Well, yes, technically, yes. But you have to understand the whole context in which he's speaking to them personally, and why is he using my people. And then you can understand that he's not just talking to the 12 tribes, but what I think the best way to for people to get an understanding, oh, he was just talking to Israel. Okay, everything you do involves somebody else. Everything you do involves somebody else. Everything. So in that aspect of everything you do has ripple effects for my children or family or community or state or city or country. Everything I do involves other people. Okay? So here it is, his people, God's people, 12 tribes of Israel, was obviously messing up. So now you have to understand, okay, what is the significance for me if I'm not a part of the 12 tribes? I'm here in 2023. Well, you have to understand that the 12 tribes was a priest to the world. They were a priest. They were to be a priest to the world. God had ordained or commissioned the 12 tribes to be the example of every single civilization on the planet. Having said that, if they messed up, then the world messed up. So you have the 12 tribes, all 12 tribes being ordained to be priests unto the Lord, to be a priest to the world, commissioned to be a priest to the world. You had one tribe, the Levi tribe, to be the priest to the 12 if they sinned, and to implement and to confirm and to get the people to comply to the law, so that they'll be examples to those outside of the 12 tribes. So in this, Hosea is actually getting rid of the corruption. God is saying, I'm going to get rid of the corruption that is in my holy priesthood. I'm going to reprimand them for failing to do what they need to do to be a good and perfect example of what my will is. Of what my will is. Of what the instructions, what I instructed you to do. So let's look at that. It says, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. And here's a point I want to make. It totally debunks the whole thing that they couldn't keep the law or they couldn't obey God. No, they could. They just refused to comply. In that scripture, it shows you that you have the ability to obtain knowledge or to comply to knowledge. You just rejected knowledge. You rejected it. So keep that in. So that that cancels the thought that they couldn't keep it. No, you can keep it. You just rejected it. Let's move on. I will reject thee, that thou shall be no priest to me. So here you have, they're commissioned, they're ordained, and it's like, if they're messing up, then how I'm going to reprimand other nations that don't have the law? How am I going to reprimand them for breaking a law when y'all the ones breaking it too? That further confirms that that God was cleaning up the corruption. He said they're destroyed, they're cut off because of the lack of knowledge. So you have to get rid of corruption in order for you to move forward in excellence. You have to get rid of corruption in order for you to move forward in excellence. What is excellence? That excellence is Torah. Let's keep forward. I can prove it to you. Thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of the Lord thy God. I will forget thy children. That word law, the concordance number is 8451. H8451. When you look that up, it means Torah. Torah means Torah is the first 5 books, and Torah means the teachings and instructions from Elohim. So having that, the knowledge, the lack of knowledge that his people did not have was Torah. Excuse me. Was Torah. So how can I make that applicable today to me? Is that if I want to escape being destroyed, being cut off, having said, depart from me, the works of iniquity. And when you look at iniquity, it means lawlessness. So how do I keep from God saying to me, depart from me? You can do that by following Torah. Torah is the teaching and instructions of God. It is the holy script. It is the holy writ that we should follow today. All scriptures, that word all scriptures is Torah in the Greek. It's G1124, and it still means Torah. It means the first 5 books of the Bible, or yes, the first 5 books of the Bible. So you can't get around what this means. So when we quote the scripture of my people perish because of lack of knowledge, we can clearly say that my people perish, my people are destroyed for the lack of Torah. This is Mikael ben Yehuda saying Shalom.